Hey guys, it's 101R Smith, and we are back again with a review. This time we're going to be taking a look at the brand new high-grade Destiny Gundam Revive. Now, if you guys don't know, the Destiny Gundam is a bit of a concept. Back in the original C, the developers and the Mobile Suit team were trying to come up with the second Gundam from Kira. Essentially, they were looking for an all-in-one purpose, sort of like what became of the Perfect Strike Gundam. However, it didn't go that far, and eventually we got the Freedom Gundam instead, which is one of my all-time favorite Gundams. Halfway through Destiny, they decided to return to this concept for Shin and his second Gundam, and we got the Destiny Gundam. To be honest, the Destiny Gundam, in terms of technical aspects and in terms of plot, armor, is one of the most convoluted suits I've ever seen in the entire franchise of Gundam. In fact, I'll link you in this video a description about a YouTuber named WackyModder84 who went through all of the technical problems with the Destiny Gundam and all of its issues of how it works with its technology within the cosmic era. My personal taste, I like the design of the Destiny Gundam, especially the whole face where it looks like it has the bleeding eyes. As a person of Native American descent, I find that very fascinating. However, I find it at times to be a bit impractical, and a lot of its designs have been done better. But aesthetically, and from an aesthetic standpoint, it's not that bad of a Gundam. And I'm kind of happy that it's got a revive. A lot of the other editions of Destiny, especially the Master Grade and the Real Grade, have a lot of problems in terms of stability, how some of the add-ons are distributed, and overall it just seems like Destiny hasn't had the greatest of luck in the model kit department. There was the old high grade from 2005, but obviously we've come so far away in the last 14 years. This really needed an upgrade, and I'm so glad that we got a sort of Revive kit. Hopefully now that we have a Revive, we can finally have a Destiny Gundam that is stable, good color separation, and all of the necessary accessories are included in box, not P Bandai. Speaking of which, why don't we open up the box and see what we have here. Going through the box of the HD Destiny Gundam, and you're going to find that while it's not the biggest box that you can see in a high grade, it's pretty loaded. You're going to see a whole bunch of brand new runners that were all developed in 2019. The A runner is going to come with your two tones of blue and your yellows. You're going to get your whites. You're going to get your colors for the weapons. You're also going to get colors for the backpack, which is a nice, almost matte black. The red parts you're going to get in two runners, and they look pretty good. And the best aspect is that the Wings of Light and Palm of Iosina are also included in box instead of being a P Bandai. All built up, and now we have the high grade Destiny Gundam. I gotta say that they kept the silhouette very simple, not too many surface detail, but definitely a fair amount of color separation. I would say in terms of looks, it's on par with the original Master Grade. Definitely not Real Grade, but then again, Real Grade goes for aesthetics and realism. It's a good looking kit, only a few stickers to use for trim parts on the weapons and the physical shield. Otherwise, everything else is completely plastic. This is built up to see exactly how it's supposed to look like from the box. Now, while it looks pretty good, let's check out its articulation to see if it matches. Like always, we're going to start with the head. The head can go up and down, it's double jointed, and can go 360 degrees, but please be mindful of the collar. It can get kind of frustrating to move it around. The arms can go perpendicular to each other, and if you don't mind the backpack, it can go 360 degrees. But I find that sometimes it comes off the shoulders. Going to get your double jointed elbows and your arms, which work pretty well. The Destiny Gundam is actually built with double jointed waist that was added on specifically for posing. You're going to get a nice double jointed knee that moves pretty well. And you're going to get double jointed ankles, which work as well too, but definitely not as solid. Otherwise, pretty solid articulation. Now, thankfully, the Destiny Gundam comes with a plethora of accessories, and I gotta say, there's just so many. I'm so glad that there's so many to use, so why don't we take a look at each one and see what they bring to the table. First off, you're going to get your standard beam rifle and shield. In the Cosmic Era, beam sabers don't clash with each other, so most mobile suits have to come out with a physical shield in order to protect themselves. With the Destiny setup, it's very basic, gets the job done, and looks adequate enough. I would say that it's kind of simple. The beam rifle is just 5 pieces, but it works. And once you get it up on an action base, you can get your strike on, because it does the strike pros pretty well, all things considered. And if you don't know, if you're not in use, you can use the beam rifle and store it on the back skirt. It's a simple setup, but it definitely works and keeps your Gunpla available to be used for any sort of predicament. Next up are the flash edges. If you don't know, this mobile suit comes with beam boomerangs that can also act as beam sabers. The Destiny can throw them from its shoulders and it attracts back to them almost like the Dragoons. It works pretty well, but I was a little disappointed at the fact that you only get the short beam effect part. It would have been nice if they included the long beam effect part just like in the Master Grade, so that we can have, at the very least, a basic set of beam sabers. That would have been nice. Next up is a beam shield. This is the evolution of the physical shield from Destiny, where a lot of the mobile suits like the Strike, Justice, Legend, and Destiny get a shield to use in terms of energy. Though if you really think about it, it makes the point of having a physical shield inadequate and just a waste of resources to use on a mobile suit. Why bring a physical shield if you got an energy one? Next up, we're going to get one of Destiny's signature weapons, the Articulation. This is a sort of an evolution of the sword that was seen in the Sword Strike Gundam and Gundam Seed. Works very similar, however, it has a little bit more posability than the original beam sword. The Destiny can get the arms alright, but I find that the main problem that I had was that the forearms popped off a lot because of trying to get the accuracy in the pose. Otherwise, it holds it up pretty well and it looks nifty. And if you guys were curious, yes, the Destiny Gundam can hold it up with just one hand, so that's pretty cool. And when it's not in use, the Articulation can be held on the back of the Destiny's backpack for storage. Next up, we're going to get the High Energy Beam Cannon. This is, again, just like the Articulation, an evolution of the Agni from the Launcher Strike Gundam. It works very similarly, except instead of it being on the side, this High Energy Cannon can be posed in the back of the Destiny's backpack. And with the use of the hinge mechanism in the backpack, you can get it to hold it up pretty well. So even the Destiny can get in on some beam spam action, and it looks pretty damn good with it. Finally, we're going to get the piece of resistance, which is the Wings of Light and the Pommel Phenosina. Now, in a lot of other editions of the Destiny Gundam, this was a P Bandai exclusive, or in the case of the Master Grade, you had to get this with the Extreme Blast version, which came with the chrome inner frame. Thankfully, Bandai decided to be pretty nice and include this in box, and it's so much better for including this and not having to have this as a P Bandai standalone. The Wings of Light are very detailed, maybe not on the cusp of the RG crossbone, but again, this is a very detailed effect part, as well as the Pommel Phenosina. We're at the very end, and I gotta say that the HD Destiny Revived is pretty damn good. If you're expecting another Moon Gundam or an Aerotic Gundam, yeah, you're wrong, it's not here. But if you want a good Gundam for under $25 with a ton of accessories, great posability, and that's something that looks really good either out of box or something that you can paint up, the Destiny is your go-to kit for that sort of detail. It looks pretty good, you get great posability, and definitely with the Wings of Light, you're going to get a great amount of shelf presence that was already there by itself, but with these effect parts, really add into the nature of the Destiny Gundam. It might be a technical disaster in terms of how it's created, But in terms of a Gunpla, this is a pretty good looking kit, and I'm happy to have this in my collection. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for next week when I have the Sword Impulse Gundam in the Master Grade form. This is 101 R Smith, and I will see you later. Peace!